Okay, right. This night we'll be talking about introduction to Scrum Mastering. Please, can somebody confirm they can see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But if you
Yeah, I
can,
can.
yeah.
I can see your screen.
All right. Thank you so much. Yeah, so my name is Muji again. And we're just doing an introduction to Scrum Mastering. Scrum Mastering, what is it all about? I'm sure everyone, you've heard about Scrum, you've heard about Agile and all that. And then we're wondering, okay, so what is it all about? So we just want to delve into a bit of introduction. So not too deep, but like I said, just to introduce it to us, what it's all about. So over the course of the few minutes I have, we'll be looking at meaning. We'll look at briefly at what waterfall is and agile, because there is no talking about Scrum without you talking about agile, which, if I can put, is the father to Scrum. So we'll just make brief mention of agile, and then we'll look at Scrum itself. So who can be a Scrum master? Can anybody be a Scrum Master? Is it just for some set of people? We'll be looking at that. We want to know the rules of a Scrum Master. What is it all about? What do I need to do as a Scrum Master? What are my responsibility? What are the tools that I need to use in order to be an efficient and effective and impactful Scrum Master? We'll look at some of the tools you use. What are those projects that a Scrum Master can, work in? What fields can you work in? What projects can you take part in? You will look at that. We'll look at salary scales for a Scrum Master. I know most people, I won't say everybody, but majority of us will be interested in, I want to know how much will, a Scrum Master is able to earn and all that. We'll look at that. We'll look at expectations. And then, like Naomi said, we'll take the testimony first before we come back to the question and answer part of things. So that would just be kind of an overview of what we'll be looking at tonight. So what is it about this topic that we want to look at tonight? Scrum Mastering. What is it about? It's an act of leading and guiding a team through a project using the agile project management approach through one of its techniques called Scrum. Okay, so Scrum is one of the practice framework, if I can put it that way, because Scrum is a framework of Agile. So Agile itself is a project management approach. There's a project management. How do we approach it? How do we deal with it? What strategy do we want to use? That is what Agile is. So you have Agile, you have waterfall. That is why I will explain about that later. But Agile is a project management approach method that we can use to achieve and implement a particular project that we want to do. And Scrum is one of the practices or one of the frameworks, like I said, or you can say one of the processes that you can use in order to achieve that approach of Agile that you want to use. Okay, so project management itself means the process of leading a team to hit its goal or complete deliverables on a specific subject matter within a set of time. So that's what project management is. So you have a deliverable. There is a particular goal that you want to achieve or a deliverable that you have to implement or deliver at a certain time. The management, how do you manage it? How do you manage that objective and all that? That is what project management in a nutshell and in a simple layman's term is all about. Okay, so earlier on I made mention of Agile being a project management approach. Before Agile came into being, there was waterfall, and this is another management approach. And it's like the name says, and as you can see in the diagram, it's just from one to the other. Okay, so for waterfall project management, it also is a project management approach, and it entails defined sequence of execution. So if you don't complete one phase, you can't go into the next phase. And if you can't complete this phase, you can't go into the next phase. And that's why it's called waterfall. Water goes down, it doesn't come back up, kind of. It's not in a process, it's a kind of process, but his own process is a waterfall. So you finish a phase before you go into another phase. You finish a phase before you go into another phase. Now, don't get me wrong, there is nothing wrong with waterfall approach here, but Agile has just been found to be a better way of delivering a project, especially projects that are complex and have an uncertain environment. they're suited to using agile more than waterfall. And we're finding out that most organizations, most companies are using agile more and more because of the way it works, because of the way the process is, in order to achieve what they need to do more than waterfall. However, there are still some industries that are very good with waterfall. Quickly, let me just say that, so we don't think waterfall is a write-off. It's not a write-off. Okay, so let me quickly go back a bit. If you notice the pattern, if I can call it a pattern for waterfall, like I said, you finish a phase before you go into another one, So once this phase is finished, that phase is completely completed, fully completed before you go into the other one, and that is how it goes on. However, for agile project management is an iterative approach, okay? Is a repetitive approach, let me put it that way, to project management and software development especially. And it helps the teams to deliver value to customers faster. So what happens is, rather than it going, finishing one process before going into another, they all collaborate together. And it's like a process, a circle that keeps going. That's why we call it iterative, it's repetitive. So you plan first, you design, you develop, you test, you deploy, it gets reviewed by your customer, and then you launch it, and then you go back again into planning. So it's like a process, as you can see, it's a circle process where everybody gets involved in what is being done. Unlike waterfall, where you finished one set, completely finished and all that, move on before we go into the next phase. When it comes to agile, all the phases are intertwined together. As you can see, we plan, we design, we go back to planning again, we design, we go back to, so it's a process that is collaborative, is interactive. It brings the customer into it. Whereas with waterfall, until you get to the end, the customer doesn't see what you're doing. But with agile, you carry your customer along as you're going. They're reviewing what needs to be done. They're reviewing what you have delivered. They give you feedback on it. You act on the feedback, improve what you have done, and you get better quality by doing that. And the customer is satisfied at the end of the day because they were part of the process all along. So that's what agile is. And going from there, we now want to look at Scrum. Okay, so like I said earlier on, Scrum is one of the frameworks of Agile. So Agile is an approach. How do we deal with that approach? One of the ways is Scrum. Scrum is not the only one. There are a lot of frameworks that Agile has. You have Scrum, you have Kanban, you have Lean, method and all that. So there are different ones, okay? But we just want to look at Scrum. So being a Scrum Master doesn't mean the only process you need to know and you need to be able to guide and support your team in is Scrum. Okay, it's not just Scrum alone. You will be able to know about other ones also, but we're focusing on Scrum today. But in the course of your study, also you would be introduced to the other ones, especially Kanban, because which works quite closely with Scrum a bit. You'll be able to, you will be taught also about the other ones. We might not go deeper into them, but you would be taught about them also. You would know about them, because once you know about Agile, definitely you need to know about all the practices that are under Agile, and you would know about all the other ones also. So according to the Scrum guide, Scrum is a lightweight framework that helps people, teams, and organizations generate value through adaptive solution for complex problems. Now, I said earlier on that with Scrum, or with Agile generally, it's used where you have complex problems that needs to be solved. It's used where you have uncertainty. That was what it started with. But like I said earlier on, most companies, most projects are now using Scrum and Agile because they can see the benefit of using it, the delivery to customer faster, early enough and faster is really making it more impactful and being used more than the other project approach. Now, before we go into a bit deeper, I just thought I would make it known to everyone. We all manage a process. We all walk through a process. We all walk through a process. A mother walks through a process in the house. You walk through a process at your place of work. This is what we need to do. You support your team members, you support the children at home. If you volunteer for a charity, you walk through a process. So you have it in you already. You have some skills in you already that a Scrum Master would have. Maybe that is why you have an interest in becoming a Scrum Master. You have it in you. All you need to do is to learn the process of Scrum, put in those skills that you have embedded in you already, and then being able to work with it. So you understand the process, and then you're taking a team through the process to say, okay, this is the process. If we work with this process, we'll be able to achieve better, we'll be able to have value, we'll be able to be productive. And that's why I'm just showing us this slide that we have. So know that you have it in you already. Okay, so what you've come here to do is to wake up that sleeping giant, those skills that are sleeping in you, that will be able to help you to become a better Scrum Master. Learn what the process is, be able to use that process with the skill sets that you have already in order to impact your team and, help them to be, to deliver and be productive and, develop and be high performing in whatever they are doing. That's why I thought, okay, let's talk about those things you have in you already. You might be an administrator at your place of work. No matter the role you have, there are some skills that we would go through while we're going through them tonight. You would know that, oh, I have those skills. That means I am able to do this, I'm able to do that, and all that. Okay, so who is a Scrum Master? A Scrum Master is a facilitator and a true leader of a Scrum team. So the team you work with, we call them the Scrum team or a project team. Okay, and they are mainly responsible for ensuring that the Scrum process is followed effectively to help the team to achieve their goal. So there's a goal the team wants to achieve. In your team, you have expertise. They are your developers, your testers, everybody that makes up your team. They are experts in their own field. What you're doing is coming there to help them to use the Scrum process in order for them to achieve, in order for them to add value, in order for them to do better what they're doing, in order for them to enhance and continue to improve on what they are doing so that they can deliver better to the customer and satisfy the customer at the end of the day. So in the picture you can see that's the Scrum Master, and that is a collaborative atmosphere that you have there. But we will look into a better slide later on that would help us to understand the Scrum process itself. So the Scrum team is a group of self-organized and cross-functional individuals who work together to deliver potential, shippable product increments at the end of a circle that we call a sprint. So like I said they work repetitively. So they work in a circle which we call a sprint. They have a goal in that circle. This is what we want to do in the next 2 weeks. Yeah. And then there are some events that they have to come into, which we would deal more in once you start the course and everything, so that I don't deal more into teaching about it. This is more of an introduction rather than going deep into it. So just know that the Scrum team themselves is a group of self-organizing and cross-functional individuals, and they all work together. And what the Scrum Master does is to come into this group to let them collaborate together, interact together in order to get the best out of what they do, to deliver the best also to the customer. Okay, so we have a project team. So in a project team, the project team consists of all your stakeholders and then the Scrum team itself. So these are the people that makes a Scrum team. But a project team itself involves every role you have in the Scrum team itself, and then your stakeholders. So in your stakeholders, you have the customers, you have creditors, you have the society itself, you have the project sponsor, the owner of the book, the business, you have managers, you have marketers, government, and all that. Those are the people that make your stakeholders. And guess what? You also are a stakeholder. Your Scrum team also are stakeholders because you have a stake concerning that project that is being developed. So in a Scrum team itself, so there is collaboration between the Scrum team and the stakeholders. Okay, so they collaborate together because whatever we do here, they need to review it, they need to give feedback on it. If it is approved, it is okay. We put that aside, and then we go back to do the next feature or functionality that will be added to that. So incrementally, every sprint we are adding value to what we've built before that has been reviewed by the stakeholders. They give their feedback. If we need to adjust things, we bring it back, we adjust it so that we give quality at the end of the day. So in the Scrum team, you have the product owner who is the voice of the customer. You have the Scrum Master, like as I've explained before, and then you have the developers. In your developers, you have the BA, the business analyst, you have the software developers themselves, and then you have the testers. But we call them the main and generic name for them is the developer. So you have those roles forming the Scrum team, and like I said, they relate and collaborate also with the stakeholders. So this is a Scrum framework at a glance. This is a Scrum framework. So that is the customers there giving their input and all that to the product owner from the requirements that the product owner gets from the customer, their expectations, their requirements, and all that. A product backlog is formed. So that is the list of everything that is required. That is the list of the customer's expectation is in a list, and it's in a bucket, if I can call it that, called the product backlog. And from that product backlog, the team have a meeting. So these are all the events of a Scrum framework. You have the sprint planning meeting, you have the daily stand-up meeting. So they have this meeting at the start of the sprint, the circle that I talked about. They have this meeting. What do we want to do? How much of work do we want to commit to? They have that meeting, and then from that meeting, they pick work from this product backlog and form a sprint backlog. So these are the things we're committing to that we want to do. And then work starts. They develop, they test, and then, the UAT is done and all that. And while this this circle is going on, this process is going on, we always have a daily meeting for 15 minutes also, where they meet to give updates and to plan for that particular day also. And at the end of it, as you can see, we have a finished work. Before the finished work, that is the finished work, the stakeholders and your team, they would do a review. That's a sprint review where they inspect what has been done. Like I said, they give feedback on it. If we need to adapt or to adjust anything, they go back to do that, and then it goes through the process again. And at the end of a sprint, you have a sprint retrospective. That is the team themselves, the Scrum team, reflecting on what we've done. How have we worked? How better can we work, in order to get a better working process in place. They reflect on what they've done, and once they finish that, we're going back into a sprint planning. That's the repetitive process all over again. So that's just a framework, an agile Scrum framework at a glance for us, just to give us a few ideas about that. Okay, so I'm a Scrum Master, or I want to be a Scrum Master. What are those skills that I have that I can use? So we want to look at skills that you can have. Once you have them, you can be a Scrum Master. You love facilitating. Are you able to facilitate? Are you proficient in facilitating meetings? Then I would say that Scrum Mastering is good for you, because you would facilitate meetings, and then you would also have to be somebody that communicates. There's no way you facilitate without communicating. There's no way you bring your team together without without communicating. So you have to be able to communicate both verbally and written communication. Also, you have to have that. You have to be a leader. Okay, you have to be able to support, you have to be able to motivate, you have to be able to run with the team's goal, you have to think about success. How do my team succeed? You have to think about that. You have to be able to contribute. Also, creativity from you also come into play, and you have to be a team player also to be a Scrum Master. So if you have all those skills, you are in the right place. And then you have to have the coaching skills also, because you would coach your team about the Scrum process, because they don't understand it, you understand it. So there are some things they don't know, they don't understand, that you have to put workshops in place. You have to do coaching sessions for them to help them to understand the process that they are working with. And then you have to be able to be a problem solver. You need to be able to solve problem, identify whatever is wrong, be able to define it, explore solutions that can be put in place, put an action in place, reflect on it, inspect the problem that has been solved. How has it helped the team in order for them to be able to deliver? So if you have all the skills, yes, you are in the right place, and you've taken the right approach. Also, as a Scrum Master, you have skill of conflict resolution. Are you somebody that is very proficient, effective when you resolve when you resolve conflict, yes, you are in the right place, because a Scrum Master resolve conflict also within the team and even outside them, within team members, within team members and stakeholders. You should be ready to resolve conflict, and also you have to have the collaborative skill. You're bringing your team together. You want them to collaborate. You want them to communicate. You want them to interact, bring their best. Everybody is a voice in the team, and you have to be able to facilitate that, to make sure that everybody's voice is heard, because you don't know the best idea that can be used to help the team to improve and perform better. So you have to have the collaborative skills. You have to be creative. You can't be rigid. When it comes to, you see, agile is all about flexibility. It's about agility. So they might have the process saying we have to do it this way. If a particular procedure or steps of a process, Scrum process, is not working, you have to be creative. How best can we do it? What can we put in place? You don't deviate definitely from the Scrum process. It's a framework, and you can't deviate from it to say, oh, the framework is not working, we're going to pick something else. If your project is suited to Scrum and that is what you're using, yes, you would use it, and you would stick to all the processes laid down for Scrum. But you have to be creative also. Deliberate within your team, interact within your team. How best can we do this? What can we put in place? Agile is all about agility, is all about flexibility, responding to change as fast as possible. Creativity will get you to do that. And then you have to have the skill of team building. You have to be able to shield your team members. You have to be able to make them bond together as a team, collaborate together, interact together. You have to be able to do that. And then you have to have emotional intelligence. You have to empathize with your team members. Somebody is not carrying their weight as much as they should. You can't force them. You have to support and motivate, and you have to have empathy. You have to have one-on-one with your team members to know what is going on, how best can we help you, so that they can give you their best. When they are not in that right frame of mind, there is no way you can get the best out of them. So you have to be able to empathize and be there for your team members. If you have all the skills or some of them, I tell you, you are in the right place as a Scrum Master. Okay, so we want to look at some of the responsibilities of a Scrum Master also. Like I said earlier on, you would be able to facilitate. So all types of meetings and the Scrum ceremony, you have to be able to facilitate it. Teams collaboration, with all the stakeholders, you have to be able to facilitate your team members meeting with stakeholders to discuss some things. You have to be able to facilitate that way. And when you're facilitating, you ensure that, especially when it's the meeting, you ensure that it's productive, the meeting is focused. Most of the meetings, if not all the meetings for the Scrum ceremonies, they are time box. You have to keep within the time. And if a meeting needs to go further than the time, is either you rearrange for another time, or you get the people that are actually that actually matters in that particular meeting to meet after the event in order to continue with that meeting. So you have to be able to facilitate all the process that are in place. You have to be able to facilitate activities, team bonding activities, in order to continue to build that relationship, bond that relationship up between the team so that it can work. You need to be able to learn and share. So your role is a continuous learning role. You continue to research personally. You continue to research what can make my team better. You join groups. You join groups of Scrum Masters who are talking about, oh, I did it this way and this is the way it works and all that. You have to put that in place also. So you need to continue to learn and to share in order to make your team better and in order to make yourself better also. So you protect your team also. You mediate conflicts, like I've said earlier on. You have to be able to shield your team from external influences. Their work for them to do, they need to be focused on it. They can't get distracted. So you're there as a protector, if I can put it that way, for your team in order to protect them. You need to be able to encourage your team members, face-to-face communication, if possible, one-to-one communication. You motivate them, you encourage them, you're there to support and guide them. So there are some of the Scrum values you need to be able to coach your team members to be able to practice it. They have to be transparent, they have to be open. Like I said earlier on, everyone is a voice. So in all these Scrum events, you need to make sure that everybody's voice is being heard, not just maybe one or two people talking, not talking down on others, but they are the ones that talk mostly and everything. You need to draw the other ones out of their shell and make sure their voice are also heard. And then you have the responsibility to help the team to reflect, help them to create, use the metrics that you would generate in order to look at it, to reflect on the way they've worked, and then be able to plan and continue to improve. They come together and it's a collaborative effort. Like I said, everybody comes together to look at how have we worked. So you are inspecting and adapting as you go along. So you have that responsibility to help your team to do that. And also you have the responsibility also to be able to appreciate your team members. If you don't appreciate them, you are not going to encourage them to appreciate themselves. So when they do things well, congratulate your team members. Once they come to meetings, nothing stops you from saying, oh, thank you for attending the meeting. And that you're motivating them to want to do more when you reward them, when you appreciate them also, and teach them also to be able to do the same thing also for themselves and also for their team members. So that is not all responsibility, but that's just some of the responsibilities. And these are the tools that you would work with as a Scrum Master. You have the Azure DevOps, that is a collaborative tool where the team collaborates, where you have the project board there for transparency, for visibility, so that we know what everybody is doing. We can see what everyone is doing. So you have the Azure DevOps for that. You have the Jira board also. That's another collaborative tool. You have Trello. You have Miro. Okay, for Miro, you use it to brainstorm. There are different things which you would use practically during the course of your internship. Also, you have Google Workspace there. You have your Google Sheets that you can use, to do a lot of things. You have the Office suite also that you can use, your PowerPoint, your Word documents, your Excel, your Teams, name it. There's another tool called the Slack. Also, is another communicative and collaborative tool. Also, the email is there. You see, using your email also. So your email is there. And then there's some teams that they go into the office. Okay, so they meet on site in order to work. So that sitting down, the normal, your pen, paper, it never gets old and it never goes out of use. Okay, so the pen, the little sticky notes and all that, they're still there for you to use. You have tools like the whiteboard that help the team to also collaborate together. You have your metrics on your dashboard also, which would be definitely on your project board, either your Jira board or your Azure DevOps. And some, use some independent ones and all that, but we would practically, when we get into it, we'll be able to see all that. And then you have your retrospective. So these are just some of your tools and not everything. And then the projects that you can work on as a Scrum Master, like I said, is not limited now to IT alone. You can work in the healthcare, you can work in banking, government, insurance, name it. Scrum now is being used, Agile is being used in every industry, and you can work in any project in any of those industries. So don't think, oh, I'm not an IT person, won't be able to work in this line, I won't be able to be a Scrum Master. It doesn't work that way. Okay, so this is just a sample of a Scrum Master's salary. Okay, so the average base salary, they have the entry. At the entry, you have 55,000 plus. Some might be higher than that, some might be lower than that, but you have the entry. This is from salaryexperts.com. There are other places, other sources where you can check this from. And then the average salary being 76,000 plus, the senior salary being 94,000 plus. Okay, so these are the per annum one. Okay, not monthly. I hope it could be, but it's not monthly, it's the per annum one. And then you have some hourly rates being 36.8. This is just, I think this was taken at the start of this month. So it could have changed from now, it could have gone higher or lower. And this is not fixed. Okay, so depending on the role, depending on the number of years of experience and all that, definitely you will have this. So when we're talking about the entry rate we're looking at, I think that should be between 1 and 3 years. I think that is the entry 1 to 3 years experience is for the entry salary, and then you're looking at the average salary. The average level is looking at 4 to 7 years experience, and then the senior level is looking at anything from 8 years plus experience. Okay, so like I said, it's not fixed, so please don't think it is fixed. So allow me, I would stop here for now, so that we will have Timmy's testimony. Or do you want me to completely finish up and then we'll have Timmy's testimony? Hi, Laomi.
Okay, yeah, hi. Thank you so much, Moji.
Okay.
At some point, when you were talking about the monthly salary, I wanted to say, if that one, when you said it's annual, I wanted to say if that one was monthly. Today, I won't wait till tomorrow morning. I'll just go and meet my employers. Please, you are paying me monthly salary for annually, and come and meet you to show me the way. Don't mind me. Okay, so Tammy, hi. We're going to be going through the journey. Just 5 minutes. Tammy will tell us her journey in BlueSky for the past 1 year plus or something. So she's going to take you guys through her journey to try and encourage other people to see that these things are doable. Tammy, are you up? You ready for us?
Yeah, thank you so much.
5 minutes, please. Thank you.
Thank you also for Modi. That was really insightful, I must say. And hi everyone, my name is Timmy, and a Scrum Master. I'm a certified Scrum Master, and I work with CUI. It's a traveling agency, and I've been working as a Scrum Master for 2 years now, for up to 2 years. And yeah, I started my journey with BlueSky actually, and I must say that I do not have any prior knowledge or prior background in tech or in Scrum. As a matter of fact, I was a sales executive, and I didn't have any prior knowledge. So when I got here and when I got to BlueSky, it was a safe zone for me. It was a safe space because I understood like they understood that I didn't have any background, and they took me in and taught me everything I needed to know from the beginning till the end. And I just wanted to just say that you actually don't need any power knowledge about Scrum before you can go into it. You can actually be anything, and you can work as a Scrum Master anywhere. So I would also like to say that I did this internship for 3 months, and within the 3 months I got certified as a Scrum Master, and I also got a job after 3 months after the program. And I didn't even want to apply for the job because I was really scared. I didn't think I was good enough, and I didn't think I had I didn't think that I had the adequate experience that I needed to actually secure myself a job. But then that was where my mentors came in, the mentors that I had in BlueSky, where they had to push me, make sure I applied for jobs. And some of them even waited up till like 3, 4 a.m. sometimes when I had interviews to prepare me and to make sure that I'm properly prepped for the interview. So it was not like, and even after I got the job, I also was not left alone. For the first few months of my job, I had my mentors guiding me in all, like when I had issues with my team and I was confused about what to do. They were always there to guide me through and help me with the process till I got my balance in the company. So it was really easy for me. And I also want to use the opportunity to appreciate them. And even when I got a job, I also had to like mentor other people and ensure that they also got their balance. So it's a journey, and it's a journey whereby I was never alone from the beginning, even till now. I'm not alone. I've never been alone. And I had people to hold me up and to give me their strength and their knowledge to get to where I am today. So I just want to say that you're going to be in a very safe space. You are in a safe space, and you will never be alone in this journey. Before and after you get a job, you would actually never be alone. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Tammy. Thank you. I always like to hear your journey. most of us started this way, like green grass, and then we got all the experiences we wanted from BlueSky, and then moved ahead from that. So thank you so much for sharing that with us, Tammy. So back to you, Moji. Just give us your wrap up in 5 minutes before we quickly start the Q&A. Less than 5 minutes. So thank you, Moji.
Okay, quickly, I just want to wrap up. I just want to share my screen again so that I'll just take you through the end of that slide in wrapping up and then encouraging us. Okay, so during the course of this training, what is your expectation? What are you looking at? You're looking at being trained. So to be a Scrum Master, you're expected to participate in Scrum Master training, which is one of the courses, that among the courses that we offer at BlueSky Citadel, where you'll be able to practice what you're being taught in the 3-month duration internship that you're in. So you're not just doing theory, you're learning, you're being taught, and then you're doing it practically to say, oh, this was what that person said, and this is you practicing it. So you would have that. Okay, so there is certification. We don't do the Scrum Master certification, but we can advise you on the ones that you can do. So you also need to be certified as a Scrum Master, as most organizations now are making this kind of a requirement in their job advert. However, don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean if you don't get certified, you won't get a job. It just means it gives you an advantage over all the other applicants who are there. Imagine if you're the only applicant that is not certified. They definitely will pick somebody that is maybe certified over you, but at the same time, it is really what you go to the interview to say that matters. I can be certified and you are not, and then you're able to give the hiring manager or the recruiter what they want more than even myself that I'm certified. Okay, so it's just an advantage and add on to what you have. It doesn't literally mean that if you're not certified, you can't get the job out there. Okay, so and then you start looking for the job. Once you get your certification and all that, or before you get it, you can then start looking for the job. You create your CV, you create your cover letter, one that can sell you, and then you make your presence known on the job sites that relate to your role. Okay, so you apply for job, you target recruiters or recruitment channels, jobs companies or job sites or companies websites that relates to the role, the Scrum Master role or any other role, QA role, BA role, DA role, because I know we're all here. You look for it, you relate it to you create your awareness on the website by registering and constantly applying for jobs. Okay, so these are the things after your training that would expect you that you do. So you're not just coming to do the internship and after 3 months you forget about it and then you're doing something else to benefit you. You heard what Tammy said. People are there to support you. People are there to help you to grow also. And then you develop your interview techniques. You research into interview questions. You prepare yourself. You practice your delivery. You build an online presence. Network on websites like LinkedIn, social medias, blogs, videos. Follow people who are in the same role or discipline that you're applying for. And then there is personal development to come along with it. So it doesn't end even with you just getting a job. So yeah, you get the job, congratulations, but it doesn't end there. It is a journey and it's not a destination. So you don't stop there. You need to continue to improve yourself. You need to continue to grow, as you go along, assess yourself so many times, research and learn new things about your discipline, because life is not the only thing that is constant is change. Things change, so you need to keep learning. You need to remain relevant in your role so that you keep on growing in what you're doing. And then I wish you all the best in all your endeavors, starting from this journey that you have decided to start today by coming to BlueSky to start this internship. And I know we will have a nice time together during the course of this internship. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Moji. That was very insightful. It was as if I should go back and be a Scrum Master all over again. You always get me. You always find a way to get me. Thank you so much. I hope it was insightful for you guys. I don't know if any one of you have questions before I hand over to Deji to take the questions. Thank you, Moji. Kenny is giving you a shout out. Kenny A. Yeah, he's giving you a shout out. Thank you, Moji. Any questions from anyone, please? Please feel free to raise your hands if you have any questions, anything you want to ask. Thank you. Hi, 𝐂𝐎𝐓, shoot.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I want to thank Moji very much for this lecture. Although I've been trying to, the past few weeks after my registration, I tried to go to the website, to see the videos and to watch and try to learn before, we started today. And I'm very, very new to this whole thing, even the whole IT thing and all that. And from what she has taught today, even though I feel it's something that I can do, but there is this little fear, at the background. So my question is, you said in Agile we have different practices of which Scrum is part of it. I'm trying to understand what Scrum is really. And so I want to know what is the difference between Scrum and other practices. Then my second question is, when can one go for the certification? Is it after the training or during the training, or maybe, those are my questions.
Okay, so I'll start from the back. Or Moji, do you want Moji, go, please. Go ahead.
All right, thank you so much, 𝐂𝐎𝐓. I would say to go for an exam when you have you don't have prior knowledge of what you're going for the exam for might be a big challenge and a big ask. I would advise that you do your internship. During your internship, you can go, once you know you have the basics, you can go for your certification. There are a lot of people that even before they finish the internship, they did their certification. You might do your certification in your third month, to the end of your program. You can decide to do your certification then. But I would advise, there's no need doing it at the start when you've not, gained the knowledge and that you need. So you would definitely have resources. You will have things to read, materials to read and all that. But what you read and practicalize when you go for an exam, it's much, much better because you've had it double. It's a combo of both theory and practical. And then when you read more, you have a better and a deeper understanding. And then when you go for the certification, you do the exam, you're better off and more confidence when you do that exam. So I would say do it that way. But that, like I said, that's my opinion. But that's what I would advise you to do. Okay. And then regarding the first question you asked about the difference between Scrum and the other practices, like I said, this session is to do an introduction and not to delve deeply into the training itself. Okay. So over the course of your internship, you will be trained. You will be having trainings, and then you'll be able to practicalize it. So you would have trainings on all the other practices. Might not be every one of them, but definitely we will touch on. Okay, so Scrum framework is one of the frameworks of Agile. These are other frameworks also. This is what this is and everything. We will touch on some, but know that it will be more focused on Scrum because you're a Scrum master, isn't it? But you have to have basic knowledge of the other ones also. So we will touch on them also.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Righty, thank you, MJ. So thank you, 𝐂𝐎𝐓. So before the next person goes, 𝐂𝐎𝐓, you can put your hands down. So so I'm trying to think of the best way to approach this. So the thing is, there's something we call buzzwords. Buzzwords are like the technical jargons or whatever jargons you use within a particular industry or something. So in general, we like to, from the scratch, get you guys to start using the right buzzwords for things, so that you can imagine if I go for an interview for something and I'm using the right words, that tells that person that this person understands the role, this person is in the role already, this person has done something on it. But if I'm just talking using general English, they'll think, oh, this one just knows the theoretical part of it. I don't know if you get the gist. So for example, as little as when the question was being asked, I say, okay, thank you, Moji, for the lecture. So now, where do you do lectures? Where do you do lectures? In school, yeah?
In classrooms, yeah.
Classrooms. So here we actually do training sessions. So you can call it a session, you can call it a training, you understand? So it helps you know, even you as a scrum master, from time to time, you'll be training, coaching your team, right? So at some point, if you're in an interview, you will not be saying, I now lectured my team, and now you can say, oh, I coached my team, I did this, you understand? But for now, this is actually a training session, because there are trainings that go on in organizations too, don't get me wrong. But at some point when you get more relaxed in your role or whatever it is, I don't know your current role that you're going for, but when you get relaxed in your role, you start getting those buzzwords. So guys, please watch out for those buzzwords so you start learning them. Don't worry, it doesn't mean you should not feel free to say what is on your mouth, but when you say it, we'll try to correct you guys. So as we go on, guys, please, whatever exchange you get from your mentors, your bodies and all, please, I don't want people to take things offensive. It's actually for the good of everyone, yeah? So please just try and grab as much as you can in this process. Thank you. So who is going for the next question? Ijoma, seems you have refused to lower your hand. I'll help you lower it.
No, sorry, my screen is hanging. I'm trying to.
It's fine. I've lowered it for you. It's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from anyone before I hand over to Deji? And for a lot of you asked some questions earlier today. I thought people would be okay. And no shoot.
Sorry, can we stop the recording for this one if it's not? Yeah, I think the introductory part of the Scrum Master is finished, right?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so then we can start another one for the question and answers.